It is your Classic Metal Show right here on theclassicmetalshow.com. That's one of my favorite bands out there of the last 15 years. The band is Orange Goblin. The tune is The Devil's Whip, and that's from their brand new release, Back from the Abyss. And a guy that's never been in the abyss in my eyes, it's Joe Hoare from Orange Goblin. Joe, how are you, man?
I'm good. How you doing?
Excellent, man. Well, Joe, as I was telling you off air, the record is... It's just great, man. It's exactly what you would expect from Orange Goblin, and it really kind of takes what you did with the last record, with Eulogy for the Damned, and kind of expands it, man. It's just one of the most creatively strong records of you guys' career.
Well, thank you. Yeah, we went about doing this album pretty much the same way as we've gone about doing all the albums. We don't have any plan. It's just literally, we'll go into the studio, we'll all have a bunch of riffs. There's no kind of agenda to sound like anything we've done before or anything we haven't done. It's just, there isn't any plan, which I think is what's always made the band work, is we don't set out to try and sort of be anybody else. We rip a lot of people off probably along the way. that's just showing how much we appreciate the other bands that we've taken influences from in the past. But yeah, it was the main thing is we go in with enjoying what we're doing and just try and do the best we can. And fortunately, people have been enjoying them as well the last few years.
Sure. Now, you mentioned your influences, and I wanted to bring that up with this record specifically. This record, as a fan, this one seems to flaunt the influences a little bit more than other records did. Other records, I mean, you can sort of feel a little bit of this band or that band in them. This one here, anybody that can listen, like the song that we started with, The Devil's Whip, if you can't listen to that and hear Motorhead, you just have never heard Motorhead. It's just very cool that it's like that. Why do you think that it came out so much more on several of the songs on this record than maybe on previous releases?
I don't know. The funny thing with The Devil's Whip, Chris wrote that riff. He's a drummer. Mm-hmm. And he came in with the riff, and I said, we all said, yeah, that's great. It does sound like Motorhead. And Ben said, well, we can change it. When I put my lyrics to it and I come up with a vocal melody, we'll change it around a bit so it doesn't sound too much like Motorhead. And guess what? He just wrote lyrics and a melody that sounded exactly like Lemmy was. It ended up sounding even more like Motorhead than we ever thought we would. But, we kind of, like I say, we wear our influences on our sleeves with pride, and it was a little bit of a nod to Motorhead. That they're a huge influence on the band, and we thought, yeah, why not? That's what we listen to. That's what we're influenced by. So, and I think it's the same with a lot of the, like you say, a lot of the songs on the album. There's nothing really. I say not original. I think we've got our own kind of sound now. Mm-hmm. But we certainly, We're huge Black Sabbath fans, as I'm sure you know.
Sure.
And we're not afraid to kind of show that. That's what we love playing, that's what we love listening to, and that's kind of just what we do. We take a lot of influences from old 70s bands, and we're not ashamed to kind of just play it probably the way that I imagine a lot of the riffs do sound a lot like those old riffs from the 70s, but that's just what we like doing. We're not trying to change the world.
Sure. Well, Joe, as a guitar player, you kind of have to find the right riffs for the band to write around, I'm assuming. Yep. What is that process for you? And specifically, and the reason I'm asking is because I get a lot of answers to this type of a question. It just seems like, for whatever reason, a guitar player knows when he's got a good riff that can turn into a song versus just something that's cool. How do you differentiate the difference, and what do you hear in your head that just tells you, all right, this we can write a song around?
That's a great question, actually, because the riff to Heavy Lies a Crown. Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, sorry, the screen went blank. The riff to Heavy Lies a Crown, which is the main chorus riff that Ben sings over. I've had that for ages, and I must have written ideas around that riff maybe 10, 20 times, and taken it to the guys and say, look, what do you reckon of this? And nothing kind of, we're all very honest with each other now, sort of 20 years down the line. They'd say, yeah, I kind of like that riff, but what you've done before, that doesn't work. Mm-hmm. And a lot of the time with those riffs, you can kind of just think, well, I've just been the whole lot. But I just kind of had this feeling about that particular the riff and the melody. I just sort of kept going with that. So yeah, you do get riffs that you think, I know this has got to work. I'm not gonna give up, until they're so sick of it. They'll just say, yeah, okay, we'll do whatever you want now. But yeah, so that was one of those. What I normally do with regards to writing riffs and ideas is I have a little 8-track machine at home, and I will just, of an evening, just sit down when I've got a spare hour and just come up with ideas, just play along, jam. And every now and again, something will just prop up, and I'll work on that. And I have a bunch of CDs with ideas on that I'll just bring to the studio. I very rarely will write a complete song. Normally I'll bring in the riffs and then kind of lay them out and say, what do you think of these? And that's when we all work together and we all kind of build around an idea and a structure. So it's very much a team effort from, once we've got that main riff or that main idea, we'll kind of put it all in together.
Right. Now, who's kind of the leader of the fleshing out process? Is that you, or a lot of times that ends up falling on the drummer because the drummer feels the rhythm that needs to be behind it? Who is it in your band?
Yeah, it's kind of all of us. But yeah, you're right. Chris will, say that doesn't work now because I'm playing this rhythm, and whatever you want to do, that's not going to quite fit in. And as you rightly said, he's a drummer. He's normally right in respect to those kind of things, and we don't argue with him. But yeah, it is. I mean, the way we kind of write songs weirdly, where we will just write the music first, and Ben's a big part of that. He'll sit there and, without any lyrics, he'll just say, right, I think I can write something that will fit into that bit, or I can, play that bit twice, cut that bit off, we don't need that bit. We all work together, and then Ben will have an idea in his head of what he'll do later on, and he'll take that home and then add lyrics and melodies to it. But yeah, Chris is the one after we've got a formula that will kind of put it together and say, this is the way the rhythm should go.
Sure. Now with both this record and with Eulogy for the Damned, the one thing that I think jumped out really, really, head and shoulders above anything that you guys did previous was the production. It just seems like you guys found a really different, better place for production than you ever had before. And I'm assuming that's Jamie Dodd that brought that to the table, right?
It's Jamie Dodd, yeah. And, he's kind of, we just found him from nowhere, really. We did I think it was a Black Sabbath cover a few years prior to doing Eulogy, and we just needed to get in somewhere quick. We had a timeline to get it done for, I think it was a magazine CD. Mm-hmm. So we just needed to find a studio quickly, and we found the Animal Farm in South London. Found Jamie Dodd. We just said, hi, we just need to do this song quickly. Can you do it for us? And he did such a good job on that we, years down the line when we were trying to think of who we were going to get next to do the album, the name propped up. And yeah, we just kind of gave him a chance. It was kind of a bit of a risk, I guess, because he'd only done one little track for us. He's not a huge, well-known guy in that respect, and he's never really done any metal bands. So it was a bit of a leap of faith. But wow, yeah, I mean, that guy is incredible, and he will work over his overtime to get things done properly. Sure. And yeah, he's great. I'll recommend Jamie to anybody.
Well, Joe, in today's world, man, one of the things that is obvious, and I'm sure you're well aware of this, is the fact that it's difficult for a band like yours that does not get a commercial push, with radio and whatnot. Right. And now with that, what makes a band like yours continue on? Is it just the love of it, or is it viable, with touring? Can you build enough of a fan base from touring to make it still worth your while to do?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, we, like you say, we don't get very much commercial play at all. We're certainly not making heaps and heaps of money doing this. I don't know why we're still doing it. I mean, we love doing it more than anything in the world, which is the obvious answer. But yeah, 20 years, it's just gone so quickly. I don't think we've had time to kind of sit down and sort of take it all in, really. We love it. We're all friends. We started off before we even had the band as being mates, and we were big fans of music. And I think what it is the fans going to a show and playing and getting people coming up just saying, you know, I learned to play guitar because I listened to the Big Black and, you know, one of our biggest influences. And, you know, people are doing what we did back when we started to us and saying, our band, you're our biggest, you know, we get all our ideas from Orange Goblin, which is kind of incredible to me.
Right.
And, yeah, that's what it is, really. It's the fact that we were all friends anyway. We would have been friends whether we had a band or not, because we kind of grew up together from teenagers. And we kind of like each other's company still a little bit, which always helps. We don't have too many fights.
Sure.
Well, no one would want to fight Ben, you know, you'd be silly to. Yeah, and we do love it. Touring can be hard at times, isn't, you know, I'm not trying to say it's all perfect. It is tough, but once you do a show, especially a real good show, and you come off the stage and everybody's saying how good it was,
right?
It really is. I know it's a cliche kind of corny thing to say, but that is what keeps us going. And people saying that they love the albums and stuff, you know, we'd be silly not to, really.
Right. No, definitely, man. Well, you know, this is another more fan question than actual like interviewee question, but it's just something I'm always curious about. For a band like Orange Goblin, a lot of fans will consider your band to be like their little secret. You know what I mean? Right. It's like one of those bands that they know about, but the rest of the world doesn't. The rest of the world only knows, I don't know, Fu Manchu and Black Sabbath, and they think that's all there is. And, you know, you guys have always been that band that you know, as a metal guy, I always find those little pockets of people are like, oh yeah, Orange Goblin. And you know, and we all are like, yeah, you know, it's like our own little secret, more or less. Why do you think that the word never spread bigger about your band? And is that kind of almost annoying that there are those pockets of people that really didn't push their friends harder to help expose the band? Oh
no, I mean, I guess I don't think we ever thought we would be bigger than we are now. I think we're still amazed that we've got this far, and we're, you know, supporting Down, and we supported Clutch, and we've played with Alice Cooper, and we've supported all these bands. I don't think the intention at the beginning was ever to be Aerosmith or to be,
right,
you know, the next Black Sabbath. We have just literally, you know, we're doing it for fun, for the love of it. It would be nice to suddenly, you know, hit the next step and become, you know, the next big thing, but I don't think any of us were ever expecting that to happen, and never, you know, we don't really, we never expect it to happen, and we kind of know it's not going to happen. We're kind of happy where we are.
Sure.
And as for the fans that we've got, I think we got great fans that really stick by us, and it's incredible that, I mean, there's a couple of websites that are Orange Goblin fan websites that, you know, devote their time to just letting people know what we are doing in the future and really getting behind us. So yeah, we've got no complaints really in that respect. So.
Definitely, man. Well, dude, what's 2015 look like for you guys? You going to be able to get out there and tour with the record, or what's it going to be?
Yeah, it's we haven't got any huge big tours planned yet. I mean, but the problem is we're all of an age now. We've all got families, and we've got kids and wives at home that, you know, I want them to see me occasionally. So
right,
it's the problem of trying to juggle both worlds. But we've got quite a few festivals lined up for next year around Europe. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to announce which ones yet, and there's plans of coming back to the States later on in the year to do the East Coast and possibly South America as well at some stage. But that's kind of up in the air yet. We're not 100% sure on what's going on.
Sure. Well, that's cool, man, especially if you do the East Coast. I'm in Ohio, so that'd be great.
Right, I saw that. Yeah. We'll get over just for you.
Excellent. Perfect. Well, man, before I let you go, I have to ask you what is known as the traditional classic metal show question. We've literally asked everybody this for the last 15 years, and you will have an answer to this. We talked about him earlier. How has Lemmy from Motorhead influenced your career?
Oh, hugely. I mean, me and my wife just watched that documentary actually a couple of days ago.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, man, that guy's great. He's even more kind of down to earth than I ever imagined him to be after seeing that. But yeah, him and Motorhead and Black Sabbath are kind of the two big influences on us.
Sure.
And yeah, I mean, that guy just keeps going, doesn't he? We've been to the Rainbow a few times. And he has always been sitting there at that machine, just playing, happy to have photos taken and, you know, to have a quick chat with you. And yeah, he's popped up from time to time when we've been playing a show, and it's probably supporting somebody else, and Lemmy has just been standing there.
Right.
So yeah, there's no airs and graces. I love that. He's just Lemmy. There's no other person like him. So yeah, long may he carry on.
Excellent. I agree with you fully, man. Well, long may Orange Goblin carry on as well. As we said, the name of the new record is called Back from the Abyss. And Joe, as a tradition, we always let the artist pick a closing track from the record and maybe tell us a story about it. So what would you like us to wrap this interview up with?
I think Heavy Lies the Crown. That's kind of a favourite at the moment. We've been playing that live quite a lot, and it's going down well, and people seem to love that song. It's a bit of a long one. I'm not sure you've got time for it.
Oh, we got plenty of time.
And yeah, I mean, that's one of my favourites. It's got kind of a bit of everything in it. It starts off bluesy, ends up a real kind of metal, raise your fist in the air sort of anthem. So yeah, that's the one I'm choosing. Heavy Lies the Crown.
All right, well, let's check it out right now. It's brand new Orange Goblin right here on your Classic Metal Show.